you've worked on so many brands over the last 35 plus years, right? And including your own agency that you have right now.
Yeah.
If you had to pick uh, three of those campaigns that were really challenging but also satisfactory in its own way, what would those campaigns be? My personal favorite of yours is Ajanta Clocks, the musical
Yeah.
clocks
Yeah. Yeah.
campaign,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is really nice, and Incredible India, of course. So those two.
Yeah. So so every campaign has been my favorite and the best that I could have done at that moment.
Right.
Because otherwise, I have never really created compromises in my work.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have done something for a client, that is at that moment the best I have done, right? And the best I could have done with whatever limitations I have had. Maybe it was a budget issue, maybe it was a time issue, but within that time, was I able to pull something out, which is
Mm-hmm.
very, very good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ajanta Clocks was my first film.
Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was the first film that I ever.
Okay.
There was another film which was done before that. That was for a brand called Mayur Suitings.
Yes, I remember Mayur.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I remember the
Mohan
jingle.
Bandari. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mohan Bandari was the model for that.
Okay.
But it wasn't my script. It was
Okay.
the script belonged to a girl called Falguni
Okay.
Mathur.
Okay.
It was her script, and she was a little too naive, to actually go for the shoot, etc. And she was so
Right.
young and ill-equipped. Not that I was very equipped. At least I was a little more easy
Right.
to talk to people. And
Right.
she
Right.
said, "Can you do this? Go and create and execute this film for me." I said,
Mm.
"Yeah, of course." And the agency, anyway, sent
Right.
me. So
Right.
that was the first film. But that, like I said, it was not my script. So that is hers, and she deserves whatever applause
Mm.
she needs for that.
Mm.
But Ajanta Clocks was entirely mine.
Mm.
So there was this client who walked in and said, "Look, we are in trouble because there is a lot of watch movements that we have imported from China,
Mm.
and our particular brand is not doing too well because people
Mm.
hate that sound.
Mm.
The sound it
Oh
makes, or
yeah.
the
Yeah.
chime that it does, right?
Mm.
Every hour." And I think it took me about a day to crack the idea.
Okay.
And there was this guy who came into office looking for a job, and he said he could illustrate. So I said,
Nice.
"If you were a good illustrator, then why don't I do one thing? Why don't I give you my film? This is my film. Why don't you illustrate it?" And my word, he pulled it off. I mean, he did a beautiful storyboard for it.
Oh, nice.
And storyboard in a way which is never done before. I have never really seen a storyboard which is so beautifully emotive.
Okay.
The way he had done it, and then he also folded it in a nice little piano fold sort of a thing, so it could just open up beautifully. And then the client came after a week back, and I was ready, and I said, "Look, I have your film."
Mm.
I presented the film, and we made the film, and then of course, I mean, that film became history, right? In the
Yes.
sense that
Yes.
that film ran for about 20 odd years.
Wow.
One film that ran for 20 odd years, and
Yeah.
that film, of course, not only did it succeed in cleaning up the stock that they had,
Oh.
it went on to make a lot of money for them.
Right. Right. Right.
And imagine one film running for
20
20
years.
years.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
crazy. Crazy.
it hasn't. I don't think it has happened. I mean, see,
Yeah.
Mary, that Piyush's film, the one with
The Cadbury one.
no, the national integration one, the one in which people run with that flame.
Oh
No?
yeah. Yeah.
See, that also gets played out. Even today, it gets played out. But that,
Mile Sur
you
Mera
know,
Tumhar.
Sumara, that
Yeah.
one.
Mm.
So that gets played out, and that's perhaps even more longer lasting
Right.
than my film. But
No.
that's not an ad film.
True.
That's
True.
not
True.
selling a product, right? But
True.
in terms of selling a product, this would have been one film that completely lasted,
Mm.
2 decades. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and plus it bought Ajanta clocks
oh
on
yeah,
the
it
forefront.
became,
Yeah.
and it became the world's largest clock manufacturer on the back of that commercial.
Wow. Okay.
And I haven't met anyone who hasn't seen it. I mean, look, there are a lot of people who come and say, I did that campaign
uh,
for that Shakti cement. Have you seen it? I said, no, I
uh,
haven't seen it. I'm sorry, man.
no,
I
no.
haven't seen it.
That's one question I wanted to ask you. About. Do you
Yeah.
think in like today's time is it possible to crack another campaign like that and where it's in like as famous as that, right? Or because
No,
there's
no, no.
so much of
So
noise. Yeah.
there is, yeah. See, there is the time issue or the age issue. I mean, where we are today is fundamental to this question, and I'll tell you why it happens. Right? I mean, if you go back, let's say, to early 90s even,
Mm,
right? When we did not have so many channels. Okay, we only had those Russian, so to say,
true.
right? And that was the focus of every home,
Mm,
right? I mean, after everybody came back home from work or school or college or whatever,
mm,
they would sit in front of that thing, okay? And because it was new, it was intriguing,
mm.
it was a place where you could see, it was free cinema happening, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of neighbors also used to come and sit around and watch this.
Mm,
Now, I mean, I'll give you an example. Now, think of this film think of this Rexona film. You remember
mm.
the Rexona or the Little film,
Little. Yeah, yeah. The little
where
girl. Yeah. Yeah.
Karen Lunel was
Yeah.
under the
Yeah.
waterfall, etc.
Yeah.
Right? Now, imagine if I'm watching the 9 o'clock news, okay, and just before 9 o'clock news, this commercial plays,
Mm,
okay, and I'm like stunned. My word, what was that? Right?
mm, mm.
It was, to a teenager, to a teenage mind, that is as close to erotica as it gets. I mean, a girl under a shower, I mean, under a
Mm,
waterfall, right?
mm,
And of course, beautifully done, all that.
mm.
And, and the next thing you want to do is you want to go and discuss this with your friends,
Right. Right.
okay? And then you go hit college, and the next day you hit college and say, "Man, did you see that chick? Did
Mm,
you see
mm.
that?
Commercial.
That
Yeah.
ad?"
Yeah.
And chances are not many people saw it,
Right.
because a lot of many people who didn't have watched news, they would
Right.
have stopped before news.
Right.
And I said, so they asked me when did it come? So I said,
Mm,
man, just before the news.
mm.
So the next couple of days, my friends are sitting in front of
Mm.
that TV, waiting
TV.
waiting for this ad to play out,
Right.
and it doesn't come. And then it happens that it comes back again, and then I
Mm,
realize, oh, I saw it last Friday. It is Friday again, so maybe it's going to come in the next Friday.
mm,
Okay, so then I go back and relay the news to my friend saying that
mm,
it came yesterday. So
mm,
maybe two other guys saw it and then say, man, it comes every Friday.
mm.
So the third Friday is when everybody gets to see it. Okay,
Right.
now look at the life of that ad. So I have, so it's for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I have held interest among my friends about this
Right.
ad,
Right.
right? And then so the third week, and then the fourth week, or whatever, how many other weeks that follows. And then of course you
Mm,
start seeing the same film in movies as well, because that
mm,
cut plays as a feature
mm.
in the movies as well, ad in movies as well. So now look at the life. I mean, you were talking about an easy life of a month and a half
Right.
for 1 30-second ad. Today, you see an ad like that, you would see it on some social media, channel, or YouTube or
Yeah.
Facebook, or somewhere you would see it.
Mm,
And even if it's the same ad, you would say, "Oh, love it! What a dance, what a
mm,
figure!" And
mm.
then you would do the rewind. You play it again, you play it
Yeah.
again, you play it again. You play it again about 35 times, and then you get sick of it, and
Yeah.
then you switch off.
Correct.
That's the end of it.
Yeah.
So you could make the biggest film in the world. The
Right.
life is like of that of a firefly.
Mm,
It is good for a night, and then after that it dies. Of course, I'm not saying that. So that's for a person. Now it might just happen that I share it with my friends and somebody will see it.
mm.
But because it goes viral, it also goes viral so fast, and then it dies out.
Yeah. True.
That's also
True.
the disadvantage of going viral, because you sort
Yeah.
of spread it so fast.
Right. Right.
And today,
Right.
with
So
so
everybody
much of
see. Hmm.
stuff coming in, I mean, look, if you are part of a group, um, I can assure you that you will only see one or two of those things that come to you. The
Hmm.
rest, you just say, forget it.
Correct. Correct.
You know,
Correct. Correct. Hmm.
so that's the life. So so chances of doing a very good film is very high,
Hmm.
but the chances of that outliving,
Yeah.
a night is very difficult.
Agreed. Agreed.
and, and
Agreed.
that and that happens to the best of ads
Yeah.
today.
Right.
I mean, like
100%.
you have the American Super Bowl, which is the most expensive
Yeah.
time in the
Prime time.
in the
Yeah.
world where you can advertise.
Hmm.
But again, why do you think they kind of put it back on YouTube?
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
and that too, at least in India, it's only some of the people in advertising who see it, or in marketing who see it.
Right.
There is no other life for it.
Yeah. It's a little sad that
Yeah.
way.
So whatever it has to do during the first night, the first
Correct.
couple of
Right.
days it is out there.
Correct. 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 Even in the performance marketing bit, they measure it in the first couple of
Yeah,
days. Yeah.
it's the same thing.
Yeah. Hmm.
And the advantage of social media, digital media, is also its disadvantage.
Hmm. Hmm.
That there is no money.
True.
How
True.
much can you burn?
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, see, today you have you know very big brands, like you said, they have their own agencies working with them.
Yeah.
I mean, for a company which is like a Zomato, which has got listed, and they say it's 60,000 crores or whatever.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm sure Zomato has a team, right? I mean,
It does.
can't a
It has an
Zomato
in-house.
afford? Yeah, can't a Zomato, add, pay a lot of money to those guys who are sitting there so that they get the best work?
Hmm.
You think Zomato can actually pay his agency that kind of money? Not really,
Hmm.
and they don't.
Hmm.
So today, clients have the money to invest in brighter client and in brighter talent,
Right. 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 Hmm.
and we are being treated as some dirt, man. It's very sad, because see, um, despite all this, there are few of us who can still stand our ground,
Hmm.
and because we carry also a lot of experience and information and advice to a lot of brands.
Yeah.
But I feel sorry for the younger fellows.
True. I mean, yeah.
What do they have? I mean, if you are not blessed with phenomenal talent, you don't have anything.
True. Agreed.
You neither do you have the experience nor the talent,
Hmm.
right? I mean, you sort of get sidelined very quickly.
True. 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 Right. 100% agree with that, Pat. And
Yeah,
like you said, it's. I mean, a campaign in the modern world doesn't last for more than a week to about a week and a
right.
half, to be
Absolutely,
honest. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I mean,
Pat.
you see, even if you're watching OTT, and if you're watching, let's say, cricket,
Yeah.
India versus Sri Lanka,
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's this new. I mean, there are a lot of these betting sites that are, advertising
Yeah.
on the.
Yeah.
Aren't you sick of it? I
Yeah.
mean, it is pointless
Yeah.
advertising and meaningless advertising. I have never seen anything of any value in those ads.
Better
You
way
know,
or some of these guys.
yeah.
Hmm.
Can I just take this call? No, it's okay.
Okay.
That was a call from London, which I had to take.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. You might call again, then I will take. Now it's
Okay.
cut. Yeah.
So, Pat, moving to the last section of this podcast, it's been fantastic. I mean, there's so many insights. I think we can go on for us. But moving on for the last section. This section's called "Your Story in One Sentence." So basically, a series of questions, and then you answer it in a sentence, right? So your favorite movie,
Godfather.
all the parts, the first one.
Yes. The first one, especially.
Nice. Okay. Okay. One book you would recommend for aspiring copywriters.
Uh, there are a lot of books, but there is a book called "The Vulture is a Patient Bird" by
Okay.
James Hadley Chase.
Okay. Okay.
it is one of those books that tells a story right to the edge, to the end.
Right.
Damn good writing. And there's
Okay.
a book called Atlas Shrugged,
Okay. Okay.
you know, Android. Now that is phenomenal writing.
Right. Hmm.
It's one of the foundations of great writing. I mean, it's a slightly old book.
Okay.
I think it came out in the '60s or something like that. But what a book,
Hmm.
you know.
Hmm.
And then, of course, there is a lot of poetry that one should read.
Okay.
I still love my classical poetry.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
like I don't like the new fangled stuff, which it basically is meaningless.
Right.
Gibberish that comes out,
Right.
grammatically all wrong, and what the author means is not what comes out. And, basically written with a poorly equipped pen.
Hmm.
You
Right.
know,
Right. Right. Right.
the pen has to speak.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Um, and one campaign that you wish you had done. I mean, not apart from your campaigns.
Um, there's a campaign which was done in 2006, I think. There's a campaign called "Write the Future"
Write the future. Okay. Write the future.
by Nike.
Okay. 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 Hmm.
Okay, I mean it is WTF, which is a controversial by itself,
Right. Right. Right.
right?
Right.
But they use that irreverence of that.
Nice.
This was done during the World Cup,
Nice.
football World Cup in 2006, I think.
Hmm.
Now that is a phenomenal campaign, a
Nice.
campaign that has so many legs. How it went into all sorts of, how a campaign thought can
Can actually.
evolve
Yeah. Yeah.
and manifest itself in multiple
Hmm.
different ways.
Hmm.
It's a case study by itself.
Nice. Nice.
It's one of
I'll
those
definitely
campaigns
check
that
it out.
yeah, please do that. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a beautiful campaign by itself,
Okay.
um, and so inspirational as well, as
Right.
in
Right.
writing the future, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Right. Yeah.
And I don't know whether it is the word writing that got to me.
Okay.
I don't know, but
Right. Right.
it is not. It is not about physical writing. It's
Okay.
about the ability to, you know, design and craft your own future.
Right. 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 And the last question, right? So the most annoying thing done by a client during a presentation.
Most annoying clients done
Most
during
annoying
a
thing, like,
presentation.
yeah.
Oh, I have this fantastic story for you.
Okay.
Okay, so there's this client, big uh, national client.
Okay.
I might as well say the name.
Yeah.
Gale.
That's okay.
Gale is the Gas Authority of India Limited, right?
Okay. Okay.
So this was when I was the national creative director at Grey,
Okay.
and so there was a brief that came to us saying that, look, they're looking for a corporate campaign, and this came on the back of the very successful campaign that I had done for ONGC. So so ONGC, when they went in
Yeah. I
for an
remember.
IPO,
Hmm.
so that was done by me. My campaign, Grey was the agency. So that success possibly gave us, this one as well, and then they called us and said, look, we're looking for a campaign that would possibly lead up to an IPO or something like that, or maybe
Right.
they wanted to you know, reposition themselves in the market, because a lot of people don't know what they really do.
Right.
So they gave us the brief, and they said, please come back in about a month. So because it's a complicated brand, complicated. Um, you need to get into the skin of the brand to
Hmm.
understand the things that we do and all that. So we did all the work that was necessary, and then we came back, and then we pitched the campaign to the chairman. And the chairman said, yeah, I like this campaign. Now, please understand that this company has 9 or 10 people who are in the board of directors.
Okay. Okay.
Now, each of these people are very important chaps,
Right. Right.
and they form the caucus that runs this organization,
Right.
and they are all spread across the country, and all of them need to be taken through this
Hmm.
campaign.
Hmm.
So essentially, it meant that I had to travel to 9 different places in this country,
Good.
and each of them, was a Maharati himself.
Their own
You know,
feedback.
uh,
I can imagine.
yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
So now, while the chairman is the big man, so somebody else who's, let's say, the head of sales for that matter.
Right.
Now, in his domain, in his office, he's the chairman. He's the biggest guy, right? So you have to wait. You have to wait to meet him. So you know how these semi-government guys are.
Hmm.
Sometimes they want to throw their weight. They'd like all the attention and the red tapeism and everything that that goes with their job,
Right.
etc. So we ended up waiting for many hours before we could meet each of these
Hmm.
guys.
Hmm.
So, and once we went and met these guys, and I went and met the first guy, and he said, "I'm okay with this, but this part of it, can it be fixed? Because I
Hmm.
don't think there is a focus on this particular
Hmm.
area."
Hmm.
I said, "I can fix that.
Hmm.
So you go and fix that."
Hmm.
So I'll need to go back and fix it, and then go back to him and say, "Look, now it's been fixed.
Hmm.
What do you think?" He said, "Yes, now it's fine."
Hmm.
Now from there, I need to go to the second guy,
Oh God.
present the campaign to him. He might say, "Look, I kind of like it because the directive has come from the top. I think we could
uh,
go with it."
uh,
So I said, "Okay, we will go with it." What else to do? This is a process that I have to follow.
right.
Some people were very keen about the campaign. Some people said, they were like dismissive of the campaign. But then
Right.
because the chairman has approved, well, our hands
Hmm.
are tied, so we might
Hmm.
as well go with it. I spent close to 6 months
Oh.
running from one office to the other, right?
Uh,
And finally, eventually, I
uh,
had everybody who signed off on this campaign. And then came the final stage where all these guys would come back and sit together, and then and the chairman would be there, and then I would present the final campaign.
hmm. Hmm.
Now the final campaign, so we were given a time, so I landed up there, and of course there was the strategy part as to what the thinking was,
Hmm.
and then there was the planning part,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
then there was the creative part,
Right.
and so my you know the head of office was with me, Naresh, who's my partner now,
Right.
in Bang in the Middle. So he was the head of strategy
Right.
and planning. And then there was also a planner over there,
Okay.
Sai. So Sai was who was reporting into Naresh. Sai
Right.
did the planning bit, and all those golas and everything.
Yeah.
From here to here to here
uh,
to there. And then I started talking about. So now that dates to have brought us here, this is how this campaign will unfold. This is how the thought will come through. And there were 9 films
okay.
in this campaign,
Okay.
and so I also realized that there was one chair that was empty.
Hmm.
So all these guys were sitting, and there was one chair that was empty.
Hmm.
I didn't see it, but I didn't give it too much of thought. So I am on my ninth script.
Hmm.
I'm halfway through into my ninth script. The door opens, and a gentleman who we all know today as the finance minister of Bengal walks in. Dr.
uh,
Amit Roy, I think. So he walks in, and he was at that time, I think, the head of FICCI or something like that. So he walked in, and he was sent as an observer by the government.
hmm.
So he came in, and everybody stood up, and I also stood up, and he came and sat down, and he said, "Okay, come, let's go through it." So I said, "Look, I'm on. So there is a strat part to it. There's a planning part to it. There is then the creative part. And in the creative, there are 9 films, and I'm in the middle of my 9th film. would you like me to just complete this film, or would you like us to take you through the start?
Oh
He said,
God.
no, I just tell me the last film. So I'll tell you the last film. That's good enough for me. So I said the film begins on in this desert thing, and then there's this woman with this,
Right.
pot of water
Hmm.
on her head, and she's got a child with her, and they're walking down this path. I said, but why is this film shot? Why is this film happening in Rajasthan? I said, well, that's where the whole setup is.
Hmm.
But why Rajasthan? And what are we getting out of Rajasthan for us, for this brand? And he started asking the weirdest questions
Oh
possible.
God.
And I said, look, this is exactly why I said, why don't we go to the beginning and talk
Right.
about the strategy so
Right.
that you know how I've reached here. I don't want to listen to all that. And he started getting extremely, curt and
Right.
upset and all that and agitated. And see, I am here. I was sitting there after 6 months of hard work. Okay, after having gone through this
Uh,
entire rigmarole of so many cities and so many
yeah.
people, and finally I've got somewhere,
Yeah.
and this guy has come in and he's trying to scuttle my campaign,
Right.
and I was getting pissed.
Right. Right. I can
I
imagine.
was getting pissed. Yeah, I was getting completely worked up myself,
Uh,
and then we started shouting at each other.
oh God.
So
Okay.
because then I
Uh,
realized that he was not there to buy the campaign.
uh,
He was there to scuttle it,
oh
completely
God.
scuttle it. I don't know for what reason.
Right.
Uh, so maybe he and the chairman didn't get along, so he
Okay.
wanted to fire a missile into the whole works.
Right.
But whatever it was very apparent and evident that he was not going to let this do this campaign. And I got very passionate about this campaign, and I said, look, it's taken me 6 months to get here, and all those other guys were sitting with their heads down, because I completely sort of got possessed, and I started, yeah, I started, raving. I
Right.
said, look, what is this? Yeah, I've done so much, and so my head of the office is sitting there and said, Pat, keep quiet. I said, shut up. I'm not keeping quiet. I'm going to let blow over here, and and then he said to me, why are you so passionate about your campaign? I said, if I am not passionate about my campaign, who else will it be? Who else
Uh,
will be so passionate about it? Because, forget about the fact that I have invested so much
yeah.
of time, but this is the thing, this is the brand. I've started to live the brand. This is
Hmm.
what the brand is all about.
Right.
I said, this is not your brand. This is the government of India's brand. I said,
Hmm.
that's a different point. The
Hmm.
point is that I happen to be the creative person in the job, and
Right.
it's my job to deliver this campaign and to make this company look very good and to reposition, etc., etc. And
Hmm.
I think it is fairly doing the job very well.
Hmm. Hmm.
And he wouldn't agree. And then I said, you know what? You're not here to buy this campaign.
Hmm.
You're not here to listen to me.
Hmm.
You're here to completely destroy this presentation, aren't you?
Hmm.
I started accusing him of what he said.
Right.
Then he said, "Who the hell do you think you are?" I
Hmm.
said, "Look, I may be who I am, but I'm not going to let this go. And this is the end of this presentation." And I slammed my computer
Oh
down,
God.
and I walked out of the door. I shut the bloody door, and that was the end of the Gale presentation. And it was, I think, about 150 crore campaign
Wow.
that was blown up
That's yeah.
in that moment of madness. And
Hmm.
again, like I said, so even if I was nice, even I, even if I hadn't crossed it, even if I hadn't,
Right.
sort of calmed down and played my cards right,
Hmm.
he wasn't there to, you
Yeah.
know, get the campaign through. He
Hmm.
was there because of other reasons.
Hmm.
And the strangest thing was that, so I was flying to Bombay, I think about 5 years ago,
Okay.
5 or 6 years ago. This is many years after this
Right.
had happened.
Right.
And even during those days, I had a beard. And
Right.
it was not as white, but it
Right.
was getting there,
Yeah.
And so we were on a jet flight.
Hmm.
So both of us were sitting in the business class, up, uh, I think A and C.
Okay.
So I was there ahead of, uh, you know, I was already in my seat when this gentleman walks in, and he sees me sitting, and he was actually going to be sitting next to me. And I said, "Aha! So this is the man who fought with me." And he looked at me and said, "Oh, this is the guy who fought with me." So we had these arrows flying between our eyes, and then I got a call, and then I said, that Dr. Amit Roy is sitting next to me, man. So I was speaking to someone. You won't believe it. I mean, it was nice of him because we could have got into an argument and such thing. He actually stood up and said, "You know what? I think you're busy. I don't want to disturb you." So he moved to one seat. so I do know that I can never go down to Bengal and pitch a campaign to them at all.
Interesting. I mean, so interesting. I mean, yeah. I mean, we couldn't have imagined like something like this. I mean, because at such a scale, I think.
Yeah, but what do you do? I mean, look, I was, now when I look back, I can always say, look, maybe I should have just held my horses back. I should have, not let fly off the handle. I could have thought of so many things. I can think of so many things. But then I think my decision to at least stand up for myself, and tell him what I thought was the right thing, because normally agencies get pushed heavily, pushed down by clients, and all sorts of other things. And see, with government, dealing with the government is very difficult. Because you don't know where the pressure is going to come from and for what reason.
I agree.
With private, sector, those sort of intrusions aren't there. But this is completely different.
Yeah.
But it was good fun. I mean, I wish I could meet him and shake his hand and say, "Let bygones be bygones."
Right.
But it's clearly one of those, possibly the most standout moment when a client was very difficult.
Right.
That's a question you asked me.
Yeah. I mean, I like, okay, nobody can beat this, I think. for sure. And thank you so much, Pat. It's been such a fabulous conversation. I know we've gone past the hour as well, and and it's been so much fun, and so many insights, in fact, into it. And you've cut across right from, I think, you're the 35 years before to now, and thank you so much for spending time and actually.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much.